What if money isn't the thing that's stressing you out? What if it's something underneath money? Over the last few weeks, I've had some deep conversations with entrepreneurs. And what surprised me wasn't what they wanted, because almost everyone wanted something similar: more freedom, more flexibility, more ownership, more control of their time, the ability to build a life that they actually want, and yet many of them still felt stressed, still felt pressure, still felt stuck, still felt like something wasn't quite working. And that's what got me thinking. Because maybe the problem isn't that entrepreneurs don't know what they want. Maybe the problem is that something deeper is running the show. Something underneath the business, something underneath the money, something underneath the goals. And not what. That's what I want to talk about today. So if you're an entrepreneur who wants to understand money, success, and business from a deeper level, make sure you subscribe, because that's what we are exploring on this channel. So the conversation I keep having, see, one phrase keeps showing up. People tell me, Michael, I want more freedom. And I believe them. But when we look deeper, underneath freedom, there's often pressure. And underneath the pressure, there's fear. And underneath the fear, there's usually a pattern that's been running for years, sometimes decades, and most people don't even know it's there. That's why so many entrepreneurs can be incredibly capable and still feel stuck. Not because they lack ability, not because they lack intelligence, but because they're trying to solve an internal pattern with an external solution. This brings me to the trap many entrepreneurs fall into. Many entrepreneurs, they think, when I make more money, I will finally relax. When the business grows, I will finally feel safe. When I get more clients, I will finally feel free. But what I've personally experienced is this: if stress is running inside you, you'll often recreate stressful experiences outside you. Not intentionally, not consciously, but your attention keeps returning to the same place. The same worries, the same fears, the same expectations, and the same internal narrative. And eventually it starts feeling like no matter what I do, I end up in the same place. Who knows what I'm speaking about here? This brings me to my own experience, because I lived this myself. After the financial crisis, I found myself in roughly $1.5 million in debt. Fear became normal, stress became normal, survival became normal, everything felt uncertain. Then I rebuilt. I built a company. I grew it to 60 people in the team. I paid off the debt. I created success again. But something interesting happened. My external situation improved much faster than my internal one did. Part of me was still looking for danger, still looking for what could go wrong, still scanning for problems, because that had become familiar. So when something becomes familiar, your mind starts looking for evidence of it everywhere. And I see this happening for many entrepreneurs. They improve their business, but internally they still feel pressure, still feel behind, and still feel like it's not enough. And let me pause here for a moment, because everything I've talked about so far points to one thing. Most entrepreneurs are trying to solve the visible problem: more clients, more sales, more consistency, more money. But what if the real thing holding you back isn't visible? What if it's a pattern you can't currently see? A blind spot, a fear, an identity, a nervous system pattern, something quietly creating the same results over and over again. And that's exactly why I created something I call the income block decoder. It's a simple assessment designed to help entrepreneurs identify some of the hidden patterns that may be running underneath their business, money, and results. And once you completed it, you can actually also book a free 30-minute clarity call with me. We'll look at your results together and explore what may actually be keeping you stuck. And you'll find both in a link below the video. Now let's move on. See, money is often the symptom. One thing I've noticed over the years, people often think that they have a money problem, but many times they actually have a relationship with money problem. Money simply exposes what's happening internally. If someone feels not enough, behind, unsafe, under pressure, unworthy, money tends to amplify it. Success can amplify it too, which is why some people make more money and still don't feel free. The number changed, but the experience inside didn't. And that's because the experience is being generated internally, not externally. So, what do entrepreneurs really want? When I listen to entrepreneurs, they don't actually talk about money very much. What they talk about is things like having choices, having freedom, having more control over their time, working with the right people, creating something meaningful, building a business aligned with who they are, and not building another job. Creating impact, having peace, and that's a very different conversation. Because if freedom is the goal, then inner freedom matters too. This is kind of my whole life experience here, so I call this next one creating from the inside out. One thing I've become increasingly convinced of is that real change doesn't start with another strategy. It starts with awareness. Awareness of the patterns, the fears, the beliefs, the emotional reactions, the stories that quietly shape our decisions every day. Because when those begin to change, our actions change, our choices change, our energy change, and eventually our results change. And that's not because we're forcing life, but because we are no longer recreating the same experience from the inside. So maybe the question isn't, how do I make more money? Maybe the better question is, what keeps creating the same experience around money? Because once you begin to see the pattern, you can start changing the pattern, and that's where real freedom begins. Not when you finally arrive, but actually not even when you finally have enough. I've been there. But when you stop letting old patterns create your future. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments, what does freedom actually mean to you today? And if you want help, if you like help to identifying some of the hidden patterns underneath your results, check out the income block decoder below. There's a link. And if you are in the community, in our community, and you watch this video, I really invite you to reflect on this. Because when we go deeper on these things, what does freedom actually mean to you today? We get clarity, and from that clarity, things start to shift inside. I look forward to see you in the next one.